Welcome to Basement Movie Room, our podcast recapping Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power season finale. So, this is the final episode of the season. We probably won't get any more episodes until 2024, unfortunately, after this one, is the bad part. But at least it ends on a high note, to be honest with you. I think it's really terrific episode. I was listening to Bald Move guys talking about it, and they were kind of like falling off the show a little bit for like the last few episodes. But this episode, at least Aaron was like, it's bringing me back.
Yeah.
It's bringing me back.
Yeah.
I'm in. I want to see what happens again, And it's kind of interesting. They were saying, they don't know that many people covering Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
Yeah, hey, check us out.
We're covering. There you go. So, okay. So, I really like this episode. I thought it was a fantastic episode. It was a really, really excellent episode that's well written, well paced, took care of a lot of things they really needed to take care of, and sets up the future episodes, I think. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was the best episode so far.
Yeah.
I had some issues with the pacing though.
Oh yeah.
Just with they take a lot of time with trying to introduce these characters even further in this episode.
Yeah.
But when they get to one of the most important parts of Lord of the Rings, period, it feels so rushed to me. And it's not really well explained.
Yeah. I think we're going to get more on that part, though. I think we are.
They're just setting up, this part. I guess it's part 1 of 4.
Yeah.
When it comes to, the rings.
Or 5.
Or 5, yeah. But I just thought it was kind of... They spent too much time on building these relationships that we've already been building all season.
Right.
They spent way too much time on that, and they didn't focus on one of the most important parts of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with this episode. It was still the best episode.
If that's your only issue, it's not.
No.
I think it's an easy fixable issue that will be fixed.
And, they're going to have other seasons, so they're going to dive more into it. Hopefully. They better.
Oh, they will. I mean, the song at the end says that.
And, I love how it ended up, though.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely ready for season 2.
Yeah.
Just
I hear you.
2024, huh?
That's what they're saying. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd just be shooting these back to back to back, but I guess the actors don't want that, per se. All right, let's get into the recap. So... The ascetics find the stranger in the woods. I guess this is the Greenwood, is what it says. Yeah. It's like there's a name for it up there. I can't remember. Aaron Glen or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And they find the stranger. One of them, what are their names? There's the ascetic. There's the nomad, and then the other one. I can't remember her name.
We keep forgetting that.
Yeah, we keep forgetting her name. It's like the follower or something like that. I don't know, something like that. She is impersonating Nori to trick the stranger into coming into their trap, basically. And as soon as he gets there, she turns back into herself. The other two come out, and we think they're going to kind of like attack him, but that's not what happens. Mm-hmm. They kneel and say, we're here to serve you, Lord Sauron.
Right.
And we're like,
no.
This ain't Sauron. They're mistaken. Because we don't want it to be that, and I don't think it's that. I haven't thought that the whole season, per se. So, they're wrong. I mean, they're wrong. It's going to come to find out that they're wrong. But yeah, that's the end of that scene. It's a pretty cool scene. Yeah.
They tried to fool you, and it just didn't. It wasn't working. So I think they set it up that way, though. It was obvious.
So the next scene, Galadriel and Halbrand are riding into... I thought it was Linden, but this is Eregion, is what this is. And that is the tower that the dwarves built.
That is it. Okay.
Yeah, that is the tower. Yeah. It's Eregion.
It makes sense.
Where Celebrimbor's shop is. And it is the tower that the dwarves built, that they're in, that we see there. And Elrond and Celebrimbor are there when Galadriel rides in. Celebrimbor and Elrond are discussing the small amount of mithril when they ride in, and then as they ride in, Elrond and Galadriel discuss why she's there, because she asks like, "Why are you here?" And he's like, "I could ask you the same question."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's that little scene. It's good. It's good to see Elrond and Galadriel back together again. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
For that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So next scene, Halbrand gets healed by Celebrimbor, who I guess is a medical person as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're blacksmiths or skinsmiths too.
I guess
don't know.
all elves are some kind of doctors.
He knows what to do. Halbrand walks downstairs into Celebrimbor's shop because he was housed in this tower, I guess, as well. And he knows him. He knows who he is. He's like, it's the Obi-Wan old Ben thing. Like, is Celebrimbor here? Yes, he's me.
He's me. That's a name I haven't heard.
And it starts to get a little creepy with Halbrand. He's taking too much of an interest in what's going on here. He sees the mithril. He goes in. He says, "Hey, we don't have enough of it." And Halbrand's like, "Well, where I grew up, we didn't have enough, fancy metals. They were very rare. So we would add a little bit of something else. We'd make a sword lighter with nickel, and it would be faster and lighter.
Yeah."
And he goes, "Well, so why can't you just stretch it with something else, and amplify?" He says, "Amplify its qualities." And Celebrimbor seems like, "Oh, yeah." And then he says, "Consider it a gift."
Yeah.
This is the big giveaway
of
what's going to come later. If you know any of the history of this.
Yeah, our biggest fears are starting to come true.
We had a feeling.
Yep.
We move back to Numenor, where Farazan's indicating that Tar Palantir is dying. The king of Numenor is dying. He will be dead soon. They must get ready to build statues to him and things like that. Aarian's in here. So is Kemen, but Kemen doesn't really do much other than sit behind Aarian. And he's basically saying that one of these draftsmen are going to come from all across Numenor. I'm seeing the line right now. But some of the apprentices of the Builders Guild will get a chance to submit their own. And Aarian's one of them that gets a chance. So right into the next scene, Aarian's there sketching Tar Palantir from him laying in bed. He wakes up, mistakes her for Muriel, or does he? Because I honestly think he knows what he's doing here. I don't think he truly... I think he mistakes her for Muriel, but even after she tells him no, he realizes it. Yeah, he's going to show her because he needs to tell somebody.
He knows
he's about to die.
Right. He is a little out of it.
Yeah, but essentially
he knows what he's doing.
He tells her that we have to return to our old ways, basically being friends with the elves, and she needs to see. She runs out after that, and when she comes back, he's missing, and he opens up a secret doorway, the secret doorway we've seen before to the Palantir, to the Palantir, and tells her to go. Go now, but don't look too long like I did. It's he says he looked too long. It was confusing. He couldn't figure out what was past, what was present, and what was future when he looked. And he says, "Don't do that." And she goes upstairs. Aaron goes upstairs, looking around, sees the sheet covering the Palantir, pulls it off. End of scene.
Right.
Does she look in the Palantir? Assumingly, she looks into the Palantir, but we don't know. We don't get any more of her in this episode at all.
Yeah, she's
but he's quite spry for an old man.
Oh yeah, he knows what he's doing though. She's the only one that.
Yeah, he needs somebody because he's gonna die.
Yeah. So
he needs somebody, and he doesn't even know Muriel's blind. She couldn't look into it anyway. Although I think it's a different kind of sight that those things give. So maybe she could.
Right.
Yeah, but he basically he tells her that Numenor is going to fall if they don't return to the old ways, which is what he's been saying, and it's kind of why Muriel went along on this quest that she's going on. We cut back to Eregion. Gil-galad's there discussing with Elrond and Celebrimbor and Galadriel about making something from the small amount of mithril. A crown, they recommend, a crown that he could possibly wear, with the power. because it needs to be circular. It'll be powerful because it'll reflect the light around or something. Some silliness like that. Honestly, it's all silly. And it's for Gil-galad. Then there's that funny line like towards Galadriel that Gil-galad says, it's like, you should not be standing here at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Benjamin Walker with his
what are you doing
smug face.
Yeah, and I was like, that guy, he just plays that role perfect.
Yeah, he does.
The asshole.
So Gil-galad's not really all in on this. He doesn't think it's going to help. He thinks it's too little, too late, and it's not going to help. Gil-galad says, no, we're not doing it, and that Celebrimbor needs to stop and go start clearing out Eregion. Because I guess Celebrimbor's like the head of Eregion, and it's his city. Right. Because Gil-galad's in Lindon, of course, which I thought this was at first, but he's not, because he leaves. Basically, Galadriel recognizes a line that Celebrimbor says here, because he says something about power over flesh, and she recognizes that and kind of asks him where he heard that, and he says it's from Halbrand, basically. They told him that. So this gets Galadriel's gears turning.
Yep.
She's starting to realize something here.
Something's
spoil it yet, but
something's off here.
Gil-galad being a complete dick in this scene. I mean, I understand where he's coming from. He thinks it is too little, too late. He doesn't think it's going to help. He thinks it's kind of a silly fool's errand that they need to focus on just going to Valinor. All the elves leaving. Which is weird, I think, because why don't they just leave? Why do they want to stay in Middle-earth? I mean, I guess they some of them like the people, but Gil-galad doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, they've been there forever, but
they came over there to rule over people, basically.
Yeah. So, if you want to go back to paradise,
go to Valinor. Yeah. Go to heaven, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's interesting. But, it always gets me, too, when seeing these four characters together. There's Aramayo there playing Elrond, Morfydd Clark playing Galadriel, and then Gil-galad, the guy, Benjamin Walker playing him, and then I can't remember the guy's name playing Celebrimbor, but they're all look very different aged. And like elves are supposed to stop aging at a very certain point. Right. They're all supposed to be basically the same age look. Celebrimbor looks 20 years older than everybody else. Benjamin Walker looks probably 10 years older than Elrond and Morfydd Clark. Right. At least they look the same age, basically. Right. But that's
little nitpick.
This week's
rant. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. So after that scene, you get her standing there, and then Elrond follows Gil-galad out. Elrond speaks to Gil-galad, asking him for 3 more months, and Gil-galad's kind of not in on it. He doesn't want to do it. And then, the line of hope comes up. And
what's 3 months to an elf?
Yeah. 3 months is like, 3 months just passed now.
Yeah, I mean, jeez.
Yeah. It's like 3 seconds. So Elrond uses Gil-galad's line, hope is never mere, not even when it's meager. Thank God that just popped up on screen right when I needed it. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have remembered exactly. Because that's the exact line
right back in his face.
Used for him earlier when he sent him on the errand to do this. Yeah. And now he doesn't want him to do it, so he used it right back to him. And it works. Gil-galad's going to give them additional time.
You ain't the only elf that can be a dick.
Yeah. You son of a bitch. Yeah. So Celebrimbor's workshop starts moving to work on the mithril. Halbrand is assisting, which at this point,
it's
it's going towards something. During this time, Galadriel requests another elf who works in like the records department in Eregion to get records of the Southlands, the kings of the Southlands. And the guy's like, well, we don't really keep those records so well. It'll take me a few weeks in the catacombs to find something like that.
How long is a few weeks to an elf?
Yeah. Again, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's going to do that. Let's see. So that's kind of where we're at. There's, if you've ever read any history of Lord of the Rings, you already know what's going on here and where we're at in the story. And, so Galadriel talks to Halbrand here, and they have a conversation about Celebrimbor having a way. Halbrand's very happy to be working with Celebrimbor and working with elves in general. And he's thanking Galadriel for bringing him there to Eregion. Galadriel's not trusting of him suddenly.
Yeah.
And he is suspect. He doesn't understand why she's not trusting him all of a sudden. This is kind of...
Now, what brought on the distrust again?
So it was...
It's not just a feeling that she had. Was there something that brought that on?
I mentioned it earlier. Let's see. Let me look at my notes. Back to my notes. Oh, it was the power over flesh line, basically.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Because that's when she started. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Well, I think she was kind of suspecting it for a second before that. But when she heard that power over flesh thing, she's heard that before, and it doesn't stick well with her. We return back to the stranger with the ascetics. They want to take him to Rune, which is where they're from, and that he can gain his power there. The more they will awaken, it's great that that's on the stream too. Yeah. And I think I commented when we were watching this. They're all very interesting looking women that they cast as these people. Especially Brittany Sisson, who plays the shaved head blonde there. She is very interesting. And it's got the wide eyes, the contact lens that makes her even more interesting looking. So he ends up looking at... Why is it doing that every time? He ends up looking, at their shield. It has the constellation he was after on there, which makes him more inclined to go with them because he's still not fully powered up. He can't talk so much anymore at this point. And when they're talking, he starts using his power, and the flames start, getting bigger, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is Sauron,"
Yeah.
But they decide they need to put him to sleep because he doesn't control his power right now. So they put him to sleep, and they say they should bind him. And at that same time, the Harfoots come up and are heard by them. The Harfoots don't realize they made a noise to hear them, obviously. And at that point, an amazing battle happens, essentially. The Harfoots are trying to keep them from binding him. Sadak goes in to rescue the stranger and realizes it's not the stranger that's being bound up. It's one of the ascetics. It's the blonde, wide-eyed ascetic pretending to be it. And, obviously it's pretty cool effects.
Yeah.
The costume.
Very
how
neat.
She changes, throwing it down and like that.
Very neat scene here.
But the battle's really awesome. Sadak is unfortunately severely injured in the battle. But during the battle, he's using his powers. He starts to regain his memories. He still thinks he's a bad guy here. And Nori comes up to him and is like, no, they don't get to choose who you are. You get to choose who you are. You're not bad. You're good. You helped us. And he realizes that, and he takes out the ascetics. So really cool scene where he uses his power, and they turn into like ghost-looking things. I guess it's their real form.
Yeah, almost like a wraith.
Yeah, and then they turn into bugs and fly away.
Right.
So,
it was a
moth.
Moth.
A moth.
Yeah, not butterfly.
There's
moth.
A clue. We got a clue there with the moth.
Yep. So. Or do we?
So the fight's really awesome. It's hard to explain the fight completely, but the stranger is really amazing in the fight. Sadak, unfortunately, does die. He gets killed, but he does have one last thing where he stabs one of them in the foot, and that's kind of saves. He saves Poppy by doing that. He saves Poppy's life because Poppy's there.
Yeah,
and Sadak has his moment. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, they gave him a nice little send off.
Yeah. But while the fight is going on, as the stranger starts to take out the three ascetics, they say, "You are not Sauron, you are Ishtar," which Istari is the wizards.
Yeah.
Gandalf, Radagast, Saruman, all Istari. There's also blue wizards that supposedly came during this time period, but I have a pretty good feeling it's not going to be one of the blue wizards at this point, the way it's going.
Yeah,
but in any case,
it's going to be somebody that we recognize.
In any case, the stranger has been rescued by the Harfoots.
Yeah.
So,
we vary on our opinions on
on
who it is, but it's still along the same lines.
This episode, it's pretty much, I think, a dead giveaway.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm hanging on to hope. So.
Yeah, you keep hanging on to that hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
because there's one line that points to it. I think.
Multiple lines that point the other way.
I know. Darn it. You have a stronger case.
And the case is stronger. There's that cool effect on the screen. Whoosh.
Yeah.
It goes into leaves. Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they're gone now, though. I mean, they kept them around long enough. Yeah. Move on.
They did. Yeah. You can't keep them around.
Yeah.
But Rune is going to be important, that where they're from, because it's going to come back into play later.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we jump from here. It's a really long scene, too. This is like 15 minutes of the episode, this fight. It's basically like almost a quarter of the episode. Probably like, a little bit less. Because I think it's like a 70-minute episode. But yeah, so we jump from here back to the Numenorian ship sailing home. The queen is in the hold learning how to live blind, essentially. Elendil comes down and speaks to her about how many steps it is. And she basically is like, do not patronize me. And the conversation turns to Elendil's loss and how, she knows it's tough and what's going on with him, his loss. The conversation turns to why he pulled Galadriel from the sea. He said he made the choices he did because of what he believes about the elves. His name doesn't just mean one who follows the stars.
Right.
That's what he believed. And you get a really good quotes from Muriel, which I don't have them exactly, but she talks about faith and how, being faithful, that the cost can be dear. But Elendil does say he's going to keep serving and see that it's worth the price he's paid so far, losing his son.
That was a nice little... Yeah. That was a nice little scene between them two.
Basically, come what may.
Yeah.
I mean, a good relationship's forming between those two. It's a great relationship. Yeah. They arrive in Numenor to find the ships flying black flags. We learn that Palantir has passed away.
Right.
He's dead. Pharazon's looking upon him. And this threw me off so bad in this episode, where we jump from this scene to the next scene. Because the towers look so similar. Oh. Because I thought there was an explosion in Palantir's thing where Pharazon was. But no, we jump right back to the Celebrimbor's workshop.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah. It was like, holy, whoa. And
I was like, is everybody okay? That was very confusing.
Yeah, it was.
It was very confusing. Did you have anything else to say about the Numenor?
No. No, just I like the scene with Elendil there. Yeah. But,
all right, so there's an explosion in Celebrimbor's workshop where smoke just shoots out of the sides of it. Basically, they say the mithril won't bond with lesser ores. They're really struggling with it. Celebrimbor says they don't have any time. They're running out of time because they can't get this done. Halbrand comes in and says that they may be using too much force, and Celebrimbor is like, "Oh, you're right. I agree.
It's like, why don't you just do it?
Yeah, just do, man. Come on,
yeah.
So Celebrimbor agrees that there may have been going about it all wrong. Galadriel is there as well, and the history guy or the records guy comes in to provide the records that Galadriel had asked for. But yeah, this scene is silly because it's like, oh my God, we didn't think of it that way. Yeah. I'm like the greatest blacksmith in the history of the world, and I didn't think of it this way. And this, this poor Southlander comes in here and just tells me what to do. But I mean, it's interesting what he's saying, at least. Saying that, hey, the mithril's like a smart ore.
Right.
It has to want to do it. You can't just make it do it. So Galadriel takes those records.
They just really played into him.
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
Yeah.
With that whole,
Yeah, I mean, they're playing.
And that's part of, what my next rant was. It got a little goofy.
Away next scene, so.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert if you haven't figured this out already. So Galadriel meets with Halbrand at a little area by the Glandolin River. She discovered that he's no king. The record she has reveals that the Southlander king line ended many years ago, that there's no way he could be, and he goes, I told you I found it on a dead guy. That little crest.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, and interesting about this, he okay, he's Sauron. Mm-hmm. She knows he's Sauron now. So she tries to kill him. He stops her. She has no chance. He's more powerful than her at this point, for sure. And he attempts to bring her to his side. He says he's a manipulative bastard, basically. None of what he says is a full truth. No, it's half truth.
No, I mean, he's the devil.
Yeah, he
basically
wants to bring peace to Middle-earth, but the way he's going to do it is as a tyrant. He's going to kill people to make peace. He's going to do things like that.
He mixes lies with truth.
Yeah, so. It's all true. But like, you know, she starts talking to him, and he gets inside her head. He brings Finrod back into her memories to try to help him, like, and like twist the words he said to her, like, you know, touch the darkness. Like, sometimes you have to touch the darkness to see the light. Well, he just says, you know, go to the darkness this time, or something like that. And she knows she's like, my brother's dead. And, you know, he's like, why would you say that? Yeah. It's like, and then boom, it flashes over them back on the raft. And the water's kind of moving, all of a sudden the water stops moving at some point in there. It's very, very, very cool.
And why she would even, like, entertain any of these possibilities from him really doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because he is the one that pretty much killed her brother. Yeah. And her whole existence up until this point is to find him and kill him. Yeah. So why is she even? I mean the whole temptation
thing. He's using against her, basically, like, you know, I didn't do this, you did this. I didn't do this, you did this. And you got me out of there. You took me to Numenor. You made me come here. I wanted to stay in Numenor. This is your fault.
This is your fault. Yeah.
This is your fault. And he's like, I'm not evil. I'm not the Dark Lord. You know, I'm not. I just want to bring peace, you know, and you can be my queen. And there's that cool shot over the water with the reflection of Sauron in his normal armor. And Galadriel real quick, and queen. Like, kind of like what she wears in Lord of the Rings. Kind of what we're looking for. And she's like, you would make me a tyrant. Yeah.
You kind of get that dark effect from Lord of the Rings when she's offered the ring. Yeah,
this is like the water stops moving at this point.
That was
stops
neat.
The water in the memory. Yeah, very cool. You would make me a tyrant. So he's like, I would make you a queen.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, he says, and he'll do anything to try to get this done. He says, you would bind me to the light. He says, I saw the light again. I'm back to the light. He's lying. I mean, he's clearly
right.
I mean, we have to assume he's lying. Sorry.
Trying to get what he wants.
You bind me to light, and I would bind you to power. And he wants her. But she doesn't go for it. Next scene, he's gone. Elrond pulls Galadriel from the Glanduin. She almost stabs him with the dagger because she's not sure what's going on. But here is stupid Galadriel time. Mm-hmm. This is another Rants of Power.
There's a little bit of a lot of that, actually.
Tell Elrond that he's fucking Sauron.
Yeah.
Her most trusted friend. I can understand her not telling Gil-galad or Celebrimbor. Well, not Celebrimbor, because he's doing something that Sauron's put him up to.
Right.
But I understand where she's coming from on that. But Elrond would be the one she should tell. But she doesn't tell him because she's embarrassed. She's concerned that she helped return Sauron to power.
Right.
So she doesn't tell him. They just go to Celebrimbor. Yeah. She's asked where Halbrand is by Celebrimbor, and she doesn't reveal the truth. But another thing I don't understand is why does nobody question what she says?
Right.
She says he's gone and he shall never be treated with again. You know, it's like, oh, okay, we're just going to take that for your word. There's no reason behind it. You know.
Yeah, it was stupid.
And at this point, she is credited in the show with deciding to make the 3 rings.
Right.
She says 1 would corrupt, 2 would cause divisiveness, but 3 would be even. You know, 3 is balanced.
Yeah. See, once again, kind of rush through this whole thing.
Yeah, they do rush through this.
And this is where I start to fume a little bit, you know. Yeah. Galadriel was dumb. I mean, communication, man. There's so many Batman versus Superman. If they would have just used a little communication, they could have figured that thing out a little quicker. This is kind of the same deal.
Would have just told Galadriel his mother's name is Martha.
It would have been fine.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, that whole I'm with you. I don't understand why she didn't.
Yeah, she didn't tell him. I know she's embarrassed. It's like, and so they need gold and silver from Valinor to make the purest of gold and silver, it has to be from Valinor. She has the dagger.
The dagger. Yeah.
Finrod's dagger. She's going to have to sacrifice Finrod's dagger. She's clearly going to do it because she's done something terrible she's not admitting to, but she's going to give the dagger. The dagger is melted down ultimately. So we move over from
It was pretty neat how they melted it down.
Yeah,
that
which
whole
is
scene.
A later scene, actually. That doesn't come.
Oh, yeah, that was later. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it took her some time to, kind of depart from it. Yeah.
So
here I go, jumping ahead again.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have notes like I do.
That's right.
I took these notes on my second watch through.
It is a couple days since I've watched.
So back to the stranger with Nori. They're discussing who he is and him trekking to Rune. Ishtar means wise one or wizard in your
wizard,
tongue.
Yes.
So we know he's a wizard. And then there's discussion like, one person going on something is a journey, but more than one person is an adventure. Yeah.
An unexpected adventure.
An unexpected adventure. So we jump down from that off to Malva doing the trail finding. Poppy helps and says, "You got the map upside down." And and Malva looks at Poppy and says, "Oh, if you're so good at it, why don't you do the trail finding?" And Poppy seems to be very excited about that.
Yeah.
She smiles real big. Nori's family tells Sadak is missed. He's going to be put into the book of people they've lost. Nori's family talks to her, tells her she needs to go with the stranger.
Yeah.
That's where she is being called to. He needs her. They have some emotional goodbyes from all the Harfoots and Nori with her family. Very awesome. I love the dad again.
Yeah, he's great.
I love him. And Marigold, his wife, very awesome too. She tells her dad that he taught her everything. He taught her a lot. He taught her everything, and then she goes, "Oh, everything. I was always listening." It's kind of an emotional scene.
Yeah,
it really gets to you. It's very nice. Marigold tells her she will. She goes, "Don't worry, I'll be careful." And Marigold goes, "No, you will be bold," because she knows Nori.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Poppy comes for one last goodbye. She's really sad because Poppy's lost so much. She's lost her whole family. Now she's losing her best friend. But she says she'll come back. She promises to Poppy, and she goes, "You better, because you're my best friend in this whole wide world."
I thought she was gonna go with.
Yeah.
End up being the Sam.
Yeah. Poppy Gamgee.
Yeah. Might be
probably Sam's ancestor.
Might be a relative. Yeah.
That's right. All right. So Nori and the stranger speak, and she tells him she's certain she wants to go. But if she turns around, she may not be able to move. Her feet are as heavy as iron. And she says she has no idea where they should go. And the stranger indicates that they should go a certain way. And she asks why that way. And he explains there's a sweet smell in the air that way. And when in doubt, Eleanor Brandyfoot, always follow your nose.
Your nose, yep.
Which is a very familiar line that Gandalf said.
It could be. It could be.
In the Mines of Moria.
It could be.
There's also the line earlier, which I skipped over. He says, "You have come from shadow to shadow you will return," when he's killing the ascetics, which is very similar to the line Gandalf said to the Balrog. Return to the shadows.
Yeah, from which you came.
From which you came, So this is very clearly, they're telegraphing that it's maybe Gandalf. But they don't give you that answer here. This is the last scene with him. The Harfoots move on.
Well, she brings up the line where, like, I forgot what it was, but she pretty much said he's wise.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think it's Gandalf. I think it's somebody else.
Yeah.
So
you never know.
Yeah.
It could just be a blue wizard. You never know.
Yeah. It's probably probably nothing.
Misdirections.
Which I would
just like they did with Halbrand.
I think I would be fine with. You know. Yeah. But Halbrand, it's okay.
Yeah. And people. I was reading a lot, and I was telling you, hey, it's looking more and more like Halbrand.
Yeah. I know it. I didn't believe all that at the beginning, because I heard that second episode. I was like, no. Yeah. I didn't want it to be, because like we were saying, we like that character.
Yeah.
Charlie
Vickers did a good job in it.
So.
All right, so the Harfoots move on as the stranger and Nori walk the other way, and that's the end of that storyline this season. Galadriel sacrifices the dagger to the forge. They take the melted dagger, add it to a brazier, then add the mithril, which it accepts easily. Halbrand was right. Sauron was right. He knew it was going to go on. It looks a bit like the Eye of Sauron when he drops it in. I don't know if you noticed that when you
No, I did not.
Yeah, if you watch it again, when they drop it in, it goes to an eye shape and then scrolls more in. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I'll
So
go back and watch.
There's some cool effects with the metal being forged into these tiny ingots. And then they start crafting the rings. Elrond goes back to the Glandolin during this time and finds the history scroll, discovering that Galadriel's hiding something about Halbrand, clearly. He returns to the forge to find the 3 rings completed and looks upon them with worry, honestly, because he kind of knows what's going on now.
Yeah.
He knows Halbrand's Sauron at this point, I think. And he also looks at Galadriel, knowing she's hiding something. She sees he has the scroll, so she pretty much knows he's figured it out at this point. He's too sharp.
Should have just fucking told him in the first place.
Celebrimbor, however, over there, just unknowing of everything and reveling in his creation.
Oh, yeah.
Just like huge smile and everything.
Which he was almost under the, kind of like, when everybody's kind of drawn to the ring.
Yeah.
He almost had that same kind of, like... what's the word for it? Just attraction to whatever he was doing. He was almost like in a trance almost.
Yeah, he's
like,
very into it.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's what Sauron does. I mean, he entices you.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, though, the weird thing is that the Elven rings, Sauron doesn't have power over.
Right.
Yeah,
they made those to kind of fight against.
So this is where I'm confused on like the timelines of how the rings were made and things like that. But clearly, the other rings are going to come into play because
they have to.
Because
we didn't see any dwarves.
There's a song at the end of this episode that's about that. So I'll go into that in a minute.
But yeah, they got to do the dwarves, they got to do the men, and then you got to do one. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're just going to spread that out over the next.
Yeah. Sauron does the one, in which, funny enough, Halbrand's walking into the towards Mount Doom at the very end of this episode.
And that's when you get the eye as well. It goes from his eye looking at the volcano. I thought that was pretty neat. That looked like the eye, which it is the eye.
That's just that's the end of the episode.
Yeah,
it's like Sauron is going to his kingdom at that point. And probably going to kill Adar, turn him into the Witch King of Angmar.
Yes,
like you want.
Hopefully
that's your theory.
That's my theory.
That's your big theory.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let me be, 1 for 3 to get you in the Hall of Fame.
That's right. So it closes out with a song about the rings. It's the rings like 3 for the elven, 7 for the dwarf.
That felt really old school.
Do you know who
Lord
sings,
of the Rings?
Do you know who sings the song?
Was that Adele?
No. No, it's Fiona Apple.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fiona Apple sang that for the show.
Well, all right.
Yep, Fiona Apple.
And
should have got Led Zeppelin to do it. They have a bunch of songs about Lord of the Rings. Mr. Mountain Up.
Oh, you know what? I do honestly miss a little Adele. Or not Adele. Yeah.
Fiona Apple?
No, Adele. Oh, gosh. Not Adele. Darn it. The one that used to sing for the other movies. Enya.
Oh, Enya.
Enya. Not Adele. Sorry. Brain fart there. But yeah, we need more Enya.
Yeah, lots more Enya.
Bring her. Lots more Enya.
That's right. All right, so that's the end of the episode. End of the season. We have to wait till 2024 to get more.
Yeah, that's kind of disheartening.
Very sad. Very sad.
Yeah. People are gonna forget what happened.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I mean, it was the best episode. It should have been.
It was a
season finale. So
great finish to the show, and I would agree with Bald Move saying that some of the middle episodes were a little weak at times.
Yeah,
I really liked them all because I'm just a big fanboy.
Yeah,
apparently.
I like to be in this universe again.
Yeah, I liked them.
Yeah,
but yeah, this was great. This is a great setup moving forward. I think it sets up a lot of good things. All right, so that's it for Rings of Power this season. We're gonna do other shows. We haven't figured that quite out yet. We'll pick up something. I did get through episodes 3 and part of 4 of Andor today, and I just have to say, he's a goddamn vigilante.
Yes, I love it, man. Oh, yeah. When I saw that guy, I was like, "Oh my god!"
His voice isn't the same.
No, it's not.
It's not. He's got a different.
It's
voice.
totally different. Yeah. He's got his Scottish accent.
I was not sure if that was him or
not. I know. I had to look him up. I had to also. I was like, that's that goddamn guy.
All right.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that some other time.
Thanks for watching Basement Movie Room. We'll see you next time.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Nailed it.
And listening to Basement Movie Room.
Yes.